Hi, my name is Tom Oberbauer and I will be speaking to you about the natural wonders of Baja California. I'm traveling with a group of researchers down the Pacific coast of Baja California, and we're stopping at a number of the islands that are not very well known, kind of remote, and they have a lot of interesting resources. Today I'm standing on Natividad Island. It's about 4 miles long and it's about 1.5 miles at its widest point, kind of in the southeast part of it. It's situated on the spur part of Baja California at Punta Ingenio, a few miles off the shore of the mainland, and then it's also not too far from Cedros Island, which is the largest island in the Pacific Coast islands of Baja California and Alta California. This island is known for a variety of plant species. However, its main reputation is based on the number of seabirds that breed here, specifically the black-vented shearwater. On this island, roughly 95% of the more than 70,000 black-vented shearwaters nest and breed here in burrows under the soil and under these ice plants that you see behind me. You can see that on the slopes above there are a number of western gulls perched there. Western gulls are very strong predators, so while they feed and hunt during the daytime, the storm petrels and the black-vented shearwaters come in and land in their burrows at night. A good part of the reason for that is to avoid predation by western gulls, because western gulls are very strong predators and they feed on these other smaller birds whenever they get the chance. It's all part of the natural ecological balance, whereas the gulls are diurnal and the storm petrels and the black-vented shearwaters are nocturnal, and they all create a balance based on the resources that exist here, the marine resources as well as the terrestrial resources. Here's a photograph of the black-vented shearwater that breeds and nests in the burrows on the island. Natividad Island has a high diversity of cacti, a variety of species that occur on the island, as well as dense thickets of cacti through the central part of the island. The dominant species are Cylindropuntia choya and Cylindropuntia cedrosensis, but there are also Mammillaria fishhook cacti and Cochimia pondi, which is a red-flowered, hummingbird-pollinated cactus, as well as Echinocerius, which is a hedgehog type of cactus. But the central part of the island is densely and thickly covered with cacti. The average rainfall on Natividad is probably around 2.5 to 3 inches per season. However, a lot of the plants that we have here are very opportunistic, where they don't need much rain every year, but occasionally they need to have some rain. And there are a number of annuals that only come up after there have been heavy pulses of moisture, such as there might occur with an El Nino year or a tropical system that came up, like the one last October came up through Cedros Island in this area. The south side of the island is a series of cliffs and rocky beaches. Well, actually not much beach, just rock areas. As with many of the islands on the west coast of Baja California, Natividad Island has its own distinct and unique lighthouse. This is a view of the northeast portion of the island, kind of in the it's tilted in the northwest position, and it's the eastern portion of the island. And in the distance you can see the mainland of the Vizcaíno Peninsula, and you can see the Shogun boat that we have arrived on. You also can see a sole cardamom cactus on the ridge, or the knoll down below toward the ocean. In front of us there are silver-leaf shrubs, and they're scattered on the hillside over there. Those are Bahiopsis lanata. This is another one of these shrubs that takes advantage of the occasional heavy rainfall seasons, tropical systems, or El Nino years. During those years, not only the leaves look very picturesque and attractive, but the stalks put out flowers that are bright yellow and are roughly 2 inches in diameter, so that it looks like they're floating above the silver foliage. On the slope above is one of the large Cardone cactus. Cardone cactus, Pachycereus pringlei, is common in the central part of Baja California, particularly in the Vizcaino Desert, in the Vizcaino Peninsula, and also in the interior leeward side of the mountains on the backside in the central part of the peninsula.
Here we have the barrel cactus, Cactus forti, in flower. It's found in this part of the peninsula of Baja California and also on the adjacent islands, as here on Natividad.
This plant is Coriocarpus parthenoides. It's an annual plant that had not been seen until, or has not been collected since 1963. It's not to say that it was not growing between then and now. However, it is an indicator of one of these annual plants that grows after surges of precipitation associated with tropical systems or El Nino years. And in this case, it was probably a tropical system from last fall that got it started, and then some of the precipitation we've had over the winter was able to sustain it so that it has kept growing. These are remnants at this point in the month of March while we're here, but they're an indication that it was a very good year for this plant. In fact, some of the canyons and some of the slopes up above are covered with the skeletons of this plant, indicating that it was very prolific just a few weeks ago. Again, it's an indicator of a plant that is an annual. It doesn't really need to compete with other plants during dry seasons because it doesn't germinate. It only comes up after there's been adequate precipitation, and then it flowers in profusion and creates a seed bank that only resprouts or regerminates when there's been adequate precipitation from a subsequent rainfall event associated with winter storms or with summer tropical systems. Here we have Echinocereus maritima. It's called a hedgehog cactus. Here we have Natividad Island blazing star. It's Mentzelia hirsutissima variety Neziotes. It's found on Natividad Island, San Benito Island, and also on Cedros Island. One of the more interesting plants on Natividad Island is the Cochimia pondi. This plant right here, it's a type of fishhook cactus, and sometimes it's been lumped in with the mammillarias, but this one's unique because it has long tubular flowers and they're pollinated by hummingbirds. It puts out these beautiful little candy-like flowers. It's endemic to Cedros Island and Natividad Island, so it's not found anywhere else in the world. Here's a Bahiopsis with some flowers that are remnant from last season, just hanging on as indicators of the profusion of flowers that it had earlier. The dry stalks are the ones that flowered after the tropical system came through in October, but these yellow ones that you see here are probably from this spring. This is Eriogonum pondi. It's a type of buckwheat that's only found on Natividad Island and on Cedros Island. We already talked about the Cochimia pondi and the fact that sometimes it's lumped in with mammillarias, but here is Mammillaria hutchintoniana. It is a true mammillaria or fishhook cactus that occurs on Natividad Island.